Hello YouTube Pipers, it's Double O Pipe here, otherwise known as Rick. I thought I would take a few minutes and try and make a video here as I start a pipe. First let me open the window. And the door. Try and get a bit of a cross breeze. Sorry for all the confusion. I thought I was all set, but you know how it is. Going with my corncob, my emerald with the non-emerald stem. Carter Hall. Almost finished this jar. Might have to open the other one. Doesn't look like there's enough there to pack this bowl. Maybe. We'll see. I've been working on some of those stems that were oxidized, whatever you want to call it. I got some OxiClean. And I'm not sure what the other product was. I think it was called Vim. I'm not positive now. But I didn't get that one. I got another somebody else's product that's supposed to be the same. It was cheaper, so I said, well, being cheap, I'll try that. But the oxidized ones look like taffy. And leaving them in the OxiClean for a day and a half. It still looked like taffy, but with a toothbrush, most of that stuff came off. And then I started wiping it around with the equivalent of Vim. I think it was Vim. I have them all in here. I was going to show them to you in just a minute. Let me light this and I'll be right back. And I have a cup of coffee. I hope everybody is doing okay. I've spent the morning searching out codger. Searching out codger YouTube posts, and I haven't found too many. I would like to make a shout out about two people who were very kind and requested that people come to my site and sub me. One was Stephen Roberts, who said the nicest things. I just wanted to tell him thank you. And the other Smarty Bob, who sent some people over, and I wanted to thank him too. Those are the only two that I've really caught so far, and being scatterbrained, I didn't think anything about saying thank you. I got in trouble with one of my commanding officers for not thanking him for something, because I just don't think that was in Iceland too. Anyway, let me show you these stems. This was on the Coventry, and the LaSalle. I'm not sure what LaSalle is. I've never heard anybody talking about LaSalle. And this is the Elba Bruyere. You can see that that is still kind of coffee colored, but is more black than coffee now. And these turned out fairly well. I've got some pads that I've had for a long time. From when I used to sharpen fountain pen points. And I haven't dealt with them in a long time, so I figured, well, maybe I can use it on this, which I will try sometime in the future. Our weather here can't decide whether it wants to be sunny or cloudy. I ordered Hunter another bed, so I had to move the furniture in the front room around a little bit so that the bed will fit when it finally gets here. I think he got upset with me because I moved a small bookcase, which he had been using for a pillow. So now he's gone to the back and he's sleeping in the back. I don't know whether he just wants to be away from me or what. But all I can do is hope he'll like that bed when it comes. This one was given to me by Pet Helpers, and I was going to take it back to them once the new one gets here. Well, there was another time, way back when I was in Iceland, that I used the 00. I wrote a story that I titled 00 Screwed. I was a fresh second Louis. You know that second Louis know everything. And I worked in what was known as the OPCON, which I'm sure stood for Operations Control. Very secret, hush-hush, can't talk about it other than just to tell you that's where it was. This was on the base in Keflavik. It was a naval base with a small attachment of Air Force folk, and I was one of those Air Force folk. This was my first night to be in charge of this particular group of Air Force folk, and it was the midnight to 8 o'clock shift. It's 24 hours, naturally. National security is always 24 hours. So anyway, after everything was turned over to me and everything quieted down and the day shift or the evening shift had gone home, the seamen who were there asked me if I would do them a favor, and I said, well, what is it? What do you want? I was wondering if this was going to be one of those, let's do the new person in. They said, we'd like you to run over to the bakery. It was about 4 buildings down, I think, and pick up some pastries. They've got some bear claws there that they told us we could have. And they're just pulling them out of the oven. I said, isn't there somebody else you can send? I mean, it's cold out there, it's snowing, wind's blowing. I'm not used to all this cold. They said, well, it'd be better if you went. You're the man in charge. Still had that sense that I'm being played here for a sucker. And they said, all you have to do is go over there, tell them that you're from OPCON, and say that you're there for the bear claws. Okay, I said, I'll do it then. So, as I was at the door and ready to walk out, they said, one more thing. I said, what do you mean one more thing? Still uneasy. Once you picked up the bear claws, how about go by the radio station and pick up some movies they have for us? And we'll have bear claws and movies, and while you're gone, we'll make coffee, fresh pot of coffee. I said, what do you want me to go over and pick? Movies? They'll let us have movies? Yeah, no problem. We do it all the time. I said, well, where's the radio shack? They said, as you're coming back, it'll be right there in that little Quonset hut. Still feeling uneasy. I said, all right, I'll give it a go. So I walked out into the weather. It was snowing. In Iceland, snow doesn't fall from the sky. It's driven sideways by the winds. The winds are very strong there. It was after midnight. The snow was slapping me in the face sideways. Wind was whipping I had a raincoat on, and it was whipping that raincoat all over the place as I walked along, huddled up together. And I got to the kitchen, and I said, I'm here from the OpCon to pick up some bear claws. Do you have bear claws for the men over there? And they said, yes, sir, come on in. We got them right here. Gonna bag them up for you. I said, okay, thank you. So they bagged them up, gave them to me. They said, tell the boys we'll be over there at 2, like we said, we promised, or they promised us, 2 o'clock. And I looked at them funny. I said, oh, okay, all right, I'll tell them that. Began to walk outside again, slapped by the snow and wind. Found the Radio Shack, knocked on the door. I said, I'm here from the OpCon to pick up some movies. You have some movies for us? And they said, yeah, we got them. Got them all wrapped up here in this canvas bag with a strap. They said, well, put it on your shoulder here and you can walk out with it. I said, okay, I appreciate that. And they said, now tell the boys that we'll be there at 3 o'clock, like they promised. I said, 3 o'clock? Yeah, don't forget to tell them that, because we're expecting what they promised us. I was beginning to feel like I might be in the middle of a spy ring or something. One of those, you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back. And I was in the middle of this, so that I was going to be the one who was going to be slammed in the slammer. I kept walking along and walking along. The more I thought about this, the more worried I got. Because I didn't know what I had gotten myself in the middle of. First time alone, being in charge of the operations that go on there. With each step, I got a little more worried. So got back to the place and typed in my secret code to get in. Was met at the door by a couple of sailors, and they grabbed the bear claws out of one hand and grabbed the movies out of the other. And said, the coffee's over there made, told you we'd make a new pot and it's about ready, so go get your cup. Still not knowing what was going on, I went and got a cup. Still uneasy, really uneasy inside. Poured a cup of coffee. Got a couple of bear claws on a plate. Walked over and sat down at my desk, facing the front where they had put up the screen for the movies. They turned out all the lights and started the movies. So I was sitting back, enjoying my cup of coffee, enjoying my bear claw, and enjoying the show. Fractured Flickers was the name of it. Hans Conried was showing old TV shows that they had added new dialogue to by ad-libbing to it. Hilarious show. So I was drinking my coffee, enjoying my bear claw, and just laughing and laughing and laughing when I heard the door open over to the side over there. And I kind of looked, and they opened it real easy and slid somebody in. Took him upstairs in the back. Well, I didn't know what that was all about. And I started to ask, but then I caught sight of the screen again and started laughing again. A little bit later, the same thing happened. There was a slight knock on the door, and somebody was over there slipping it open real quick, and somebody slipped in. They closed it real quick. All very sneaky. So I got worried, and I got up and I walked over. I said, "What's going on?" They said, it's okay. We do this all the time." I said, "What are you doing? Is this some kind of spy ring? You letting secrets go or something?" And they broke up laughing. I couldn't believe it. They were laughing. I said, "Why are you sneaking people in like that? That just doesn't seem right." He said, "Listen, Lieutenant. What we have to trade is the red phone in the back." I said, what are you talking about? What's the red phone?" The red phone is our phone that we can call the States or any place in the world, and these boys can call home for free. Otherwise, they have to pay the long-distance charges going through payphones and such. I said, "How in the world can you do that? You can't do that, can you?" "We do it all the time. Not breaking any rules. We're not hurting anybody. All we're doing is letting some of our folks call their home folks and let them talk for just 5 or 10 minutes. That's all they ask. From that, we get bear claws, movies, got all kinds of things." I said, that's what it is? That's why they give you all this stuff? Yeah. Why not? They get to talk to their families for free. And nobody gets in trouble about this? No, nobody gets in trouble. It's okay. It's no problem. Come to find out, it went on all the time. It wasn't anything anybody got in trouble about, unless there was something going on. But during the hours of midnight to 8, when nothing was going on, they could use that phone. They didn't have to worry about it unless, the commanding officer came in and said, "Got to use that phone." Then everybody had to skedaddle. Yeah, I thought I was double O screwed. But come to find out, it was just one of those traditions of the Navy at that particular site. And it was enjoyable for everybody because we got pastries, movies, and coffee, and the freedom to watch and eat and drink when there's nothing going on. If there's something going on, that's totally don't do that. But for that first few minutes that I was walking back from those two places, I was kind of quaking in my shoes. I thought I got myself into something I would never get out of. And then when they started sneaking those people in, I felt the same way. I'm done for. After all, I was the newbie officer in charge. Who cares what happens to a second Louis? But we did that often. And it was nice that they could call home and not have to be charged for it, because long distance in those days from Iceland to home was very expensive. Your government dollars at work. Well, somebody was talking the other day about the difference in taste of their Carter Hall in a cob as opposed to in a briar, and that they noticed the taste but they couldn't put it into words, that it was too subtle for words. And I've never thought of anything like that, so I have decided I'm going to have to start trying to figure out, does it really taste different in a cob than it does in a briar? I'm going to have to try and remember to pay a little more attention when I do that. Well, just another silly story that I had from my past, my time in the military. Interesting times. I didn't want to be in it when I was in it, but looking back now, it's some of the more enjoyable times that we had. I think that happens whenever you get old. You realize things weren't as bad as you thought they were at the time, and some of those times were the most enjoyable times. Oh well, enjoy the time you have. I hope everybody is doing well, and I'll say God bless until the next time.